Hi guys, this is Foxhole from ForgeCast, and Kit's on the other end of the line. Let's get started with game one of our sealed pool. Select my deck. Let's go ahead and play the Tempest Necrium sealed. Ready to play.
Initiated.
Alright. So, out of all these cards, the one that has the most potential upside here is this card right here. These two cards will always do their job, and so will this one. And this card is the only card I'd consider playing over it, simply because the ability to get damage in faster is very important, but he has to deal with this card. Otherwise something goes very terribly wrong for him. So we'll put it into lane 1 and pass the turn back.
Alright, well, luckily the first two turns of the game are the turns that it's most easy to take risky plays, like playing Technosmith or leveling a bomb. Sometimes it's both, hee. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I don't care if it dies to the Flameblade champion, and alternatively I'm going to put a card that will kill the champion in front of it.
Okay, here's another point at which, I can't really effectively deal with that glutton, so I'll let the trade happen. And so instead, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get these two cards leveled, simply because the upside on them is enormous. And actually, on second thought, I'm not going to level this because having one already on the board, it's not as much of an upside at level 2 because he's playing Technosmith, which means he's most likely leveling some very, very powerful card with it. And so this is one of my few answers to his bombs. So I'll hit battle, let those trade, take damage from the trigger, and then in this lane I'm going to play that card, and then I'm just going to go ahead and throw this in front of his Technosmith because it won't die.
Alright, so Flamestoke Shaman is a very scary card. I wish Fox hadn't revealed that he just had a Flameblade champion in his hand, because I would be much more scared of it. I'm still going to address it accordingly, though. I'll take the turn to level my Technosmith, because I doubt I'll get another one after this. And we will put a strong card in front of the Shaman to trade with it.
Now here's an interesting turn where I can actually do some of the more fun things with Windcaller, in that I can Windcaller to lane 2, move my Blightwalker to lane 1, and keep him off of a board presence. And then I think the card that I most want to get leveled here, and give haste to with this Flamestoke, is going to be this Wind Primordial, because move is such a powerful effect in limited, and getting in for 6 is nothing to scoff at.
Sick play with the Blightwalker, by the way.
Oh, I know. So much fun. I'm also leaving my Wind Primordial in 2 open lanes, so it can move either way.
Alright, well, this'll be one of the few times I feel that I'll have the ability to gain an advantage with a level 1 Epidemic, especially with a lot of the cards that you want to kill Epidemic with being at the higher rarities, including, in this case, Magma Hound being uncommon. I want to play it now while I have the chance, instead of not being able to play it until it's too late. Beyond that, I have other cards in my hand I could level, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the card that is going to be harder for him to deal with at higher levels. So I actually consider me ahead in this board, because he doesn't want a 0-4. And I have a card that, probably he's going to ignore, and it's going to continue to peg him in the face for 4 for a little while.
And you'd be right in that. I'm going to play this Bone Scythe Reaver here, simply because it has the ability to punish his draws very powerfully. And Windcaller Shaman's not going to do anything, so instead of, I've seen both Necrium and Aloyan out of him, so I'm going to go with one of the cards that has better stats at level 2 and replace it replace it with the Volcanic Giant. And just in case he has some kind of, really strong bomb in Necrium, like, say, a Grimgaunt Devourer, by getting rid of the Windcaller Shaman, I can actually prevent a death trigger for it.
Alright, so the cards that he put on the board are not cards that are incredibly threatening. They're on the defensive. If I put things in front of them, I'm only going to get hit once. The Giant is going to be annoying, but no more annoying than my Forged Plate Sentry is. So I'm just going to chump them with 2 cards that are bombs. I don't consider those cards that much pressure. We're going into level 2. This will be my last chance to effectively level those Titans. I'm going to do it now.
Now that is something that makes me slightly scared, because I don't want to see him playing level 3 Titans, so I want to get him dead, and soon. That being said, I don't want any damage on this card for now, so I'm just going to play this to an open lane. And this card has the most upside. This card will always be good, but this card has the most potential upside, so I'm going to play this, and it will eat his Forge Plate without taking damage. Without dying, is what I meant to say.
Alrighty, so here I think the play is to just eat the Giant and level a bomb and level a consistent card and prevent some damage. Nothing else in my hand would have really dealt appropriately with the rest of the board, so I think this is fine play and still leaves me with 2 creatures.
Okay, so we got the Volcanic Giant trigger here. I'm going to ignore this Scrapforged Titan for the time being, and I'm actually going to play, once again, cards that allow me to keep a board presence even after him playing removal spells and things like that, that also have the ability to chump block a level 3 Titan multiple times. And so I'm going to play a Flesh Fiend in front of this Steel Shaper, and I'm actually going to take this opportunity to play a Mystic to an open lane and get in for a bit more damage.
Alright. Well, I think I'm just going to have to clear the board as best I can. I'm not going to be able to address the Giant unless I chump it. 20 damage is a lot to take, but the Mystic will get out of hand. I'm really at a loss here with a full level 1 hand. I mean, I know that's fairly likely, it's just dealing with that Giant is hard from this point. Take 6 less. Yeah, it looks like unfortunately I'm going to have to play a Hungering Strike instead of a creature to make sure I take less damage from the Giant as well as kill that Flesh Fiend.
Which is something that I'm generally fine with, because I'm dealing quite a lot of damage to him. And so here's something is a turn that I want to present as many powerful threats as I can. This level 2, I'm going to play it in front of his Scrapforged Titan simply because I don't want to be taking 8 damage a turn. And while they will both die, this card has a very, very high upside at level 3. And I think this is actually a turn that I'm going to take to put this card onto the board. Because if he does not answer it and I'm able to move it, it represents quite a lot of damage for him.
Coincidentally, it represents exactly as much damage as everything else he's had on his board, which is a lot. So actually dealing with the Brawler isn't nearly as much of a concern as dealing with the other cards. Unfortunately, I can't kill the other cards, so it's very, very awkward.
I would like
I feel
to
this
note,
game rapidly slipping out of my hands.
I would like to note that the way I've been playing, I've been presenting very powerful threats for him to deal with. Things that are not easy. And so this turn, I'm going to deal him more than 21 damage. Which is something that I feel is exactly what I want to do. I'm putting him down to a very, very low life total. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start leveling these gluttons because they give me inevitability.
And my hand finally is actually 4 level 2s, but unfortunately they're not going to allow me to come back from this board position, so I'm just going to hit battle and let the game end.
Good game, Kit.
Likewise, sir.